Hey everybody, Bill and Jacques from MMPC Tech. If you're looking to buy a used RTX 2080 card on Amazon, we're going to give you some tips so you don't get ripped off. So this week you had sent me a video clip from your kitchen after you had 3 RTX 2080 Ti show up, and it was quite surprising.
Yeah, hopefully we can go into a little bit of details of how to avoid that in the future. I had the concept because I had originally ordered something else from Amazon warehouses, which was supposed to be a $2,500 Denon receiver for a home audio system. And instead of getting that Denon receiver, I received an Onkyo receiver, which obviously isn't even the same brand, wasn't the same physical size. It was black, so at least we got 1 out of 3 right, and worth about $400. So I had to go through a process to get that returned because they said, oh, we've inspected these things. And so I wanted to see, is this just an isolated case, or is this something that's going to be prevalent throughout Amazon warehouses, and what's a hot ticket item? So we had, of course, the 2080 Ti being probably the largest hot ticket item right now in the graphics card realm. They run about $200 to $300 less than a standard 2080 Ti. And so we figured, what's the worst that could happen? We come across 1, maybe 2 at most that are bad. So as you can see, they came pre-packaged from Amazon, looking basically exactly like a normal 2080 Ti would. Some of them even had this very specific sticker here, which was Amazon inspected. And they all did have another sticker on them as well. And here you go. This Amazon warehouse, as well as the green sticker saying, yes, I was inspected by somebody. Inside of our box, we have what looks like a normal 2080 Ti. And the first one I received an RTX card, which is awesome. So that's exactly what we should see. But then when we take a look at the port array, I knew something was up because I was pretty sure that this iteration is also supposed to have a USB-C on it. And we did not have a USB-C right here, which they use for their VR link. So once I actually got this fired up inside of a machine, I figured out it was actually a 2060. So instead of being a $1,300 graphics card, we actually had about a $400 graphics card with significantly less performance. In our next box, we had something not too dissimilar, where everything looks legit. And probably to those who are untrained eye, you would have picked this up and taken a look at it, and heck, this one even has a sticker on it here that says 1660 Ti. So this is about a $300 card that somebody had actually returned to Amazon. They opened up the box, looked at it, was cosmetically the same, and said, okay, good enough, let's sell that again. And our last guy was kind of the more interesting one to me. So this guy, again, cosmetically from the top, outside of the bag, looks almost identical. And then we take a look at the side of it. And we now see this as GTX. Well, that's never a good sign. Take a look at the port array. It's not black like the new 2080s are. And it also has a DVI port. So that's not good. So what we ended up figuring out that this guy was that it was a 1080 Ti. So actually not a bad card all said and done, but not anywhere close to the $1,350 price point, which a 2080 Ti is currently fetching. So out of the 3 that we ordered in, not a single one of them were actually a 2080 Ti, which is kind of surprising to me. Like I said, I expected to find multiples maybe that weren't functioning correctly, had coil line, something to that effect, where if I put a water block on it, it wouldn't be that great. But I did not expect to find 3 out of 3 being complete duds and fakes inside of here. Some of these guys did a little bit better job, where they actually took the stickers and replaced the stickers. So they moved the stickers from one graphics card to the other graphics card. I've now gone through on the stickers and crossed them out, saying like, this is not what this is anymore. I'm planning to return all 3 of these to Amazon with my feedback and sticky notes inside of each of the boxes saying, hey, this is not what's actually here. And again, the serial number here was also exchanged out. And when I first opened up this box, I could tell this actually was peeling up a little bit, so that was a bit abnormal. But again, not too crazy or out of the realm of possibility.
All right, so what just happened, or what's happening, is some individual or individuals are ordering brand new RTX 2080 Ti's. They receive it, then they swap out the labels from the video card and put it onto the older, smaller, cheaper card, and then they go to Amazon and they do a request for refund. They send it back. Amazon refunds the individual, and now they have a brand new RTX. They got rid of their old card, and it was for free.
Yeah, for the most part. A couple of things is that I'm pretty sure Amazon isn't keeping track of what serial numbers they're shipping out to whom. So once they start to do that, that might help deter this behavior a little bit. And even one of the models I got in didn't even have the label swapped on it. So all of the cards in this case are the ROG Strix cards, and the lineup for the ROG Strix has looked the same all the way since the 1080.
Right.
So the 1080, 1080 Ti, the 1660, and then all of the new 20 series all look identical, and they're the same physical characteristics except for the port layout. So unless you had somebody who is really technically savvy who picked up that card and said, hey, this doesn't have a USB-C port on it, you're not going to know.
Right.
And especially if you're just tracking that. So that's a really hard thing for them to kind of combat. And when they do, is it in their best interest to go after these individuals and say, hey, we're fairly certain that you stole from us, but we can't necessarily prove it.
Right, because they could always say like, oh, I had my other card out and I just stuck it in the box. I was in a hurry and I didn't realize I did that. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize I swapped the stickers out. It's my fault.
Right. Now, and here's the thing. If they're putting the serial number on stickers, who does that? Especially for something over $1,000, these manufacturers should like laser etch it on somewhere.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And that's kind of an industry issue that we're talking about now is once we've moved into the graphics card range no longer being like the top end ones used to be $500, you know, back in like the 900 or the 800 series. And now we're talking $1,400 for a top end one that's still being sold quite frequently.
That is a lot of money. I can buy a great used car for my kids for $1,400, even less than $1,400.
Yeah, and most people actually can build a fully functioning gaming PC for less than $1,400 these days. And so I would put the onus, a lot of that, at least onto the manufacturer of saying, let's figure out a better way to do this, because not only is it going to be affecting e-distributors like Newegg, Amazon, because I don't know how Newegg is going to do it unless they're test benching every single one that comes in.
That would be a dedicated position for the company for somebody.
In Micro Center, which we're lucky enough to have here in town, they do that. Where every single card you come in, they're like, hold on, we're going to test this out.
They realize we're not going to lose money here.
Exactly.
Think of how many, just you as an isolated person, you had the three you ordered were all bad. So how many other people are getting screwed over?
Yeah, and all mine came directly from Amazon warehouse. So I would assume, hope rather, that if you bought it actually from a different reseller than Amazon, that the likelihood of getting a phony back would be significantly less because the volume of Amazon is so huge.
Right, and also as a seller, you don't want that bad reputation as scamming people because it looks bad on you. And as we all know, as I'm an online seller, you've got to have your reviews always at the very best, and one bad review, so obviously a seller is going to inspect that stuff because they got a lot more riding on the line for finances. So the lesson here is really to just closely inspect that card before you even try to install it, and go online, find reference photos to the legit real deal if you're not familiar of what it should look like. Just be aware.
Yep, and take pictures of everything as you're opening boxes. I did originally take pictures when I was opening the boxes, or video rather, of all three cards. and then I installed it, and then took screenshots of everything. And then when I've gone to return the cards, I have marked every single card very specifically, saying, this card is bad, and it is this.
To protect yourself.
Because I don't want that happening to somebody else. I don't want to return it, and then somebody else gets it back.
To have them think you're the one that's swapping out the old cards.
Yeah. I mean, if I had, I would be $3,000 richer right now.
Man, what a cluster. Let us know in the comments if you've experienced something like this with any type of online seller. And also, what's going to happen when they catch this person that's doing this? I mean, that's obviously a crime.
And it's probably across state lines. I know Amazon has a ton of distribution centers now, but where you're getting those returns from, or the like new used items, is they only have a couple of major warehouses. So now you're doing stuff across state lines for theft, which, and then on top of that, it's more than $1,000. So it gets counted as grand theft. So is it really worth it?
I don't think it is. I mean,
if that's your means of survival, yes. If not, I wouldn't suggest going out and trying it, because the ramifications, especially once we're talking about cross state lines and over $1,000, 100% no longer worth it, because that stuff sticks with you no matter where you're going.
Do you think it's one individual or a bunch of individuals?
I'm sure it's everybody with their one-offs, because they're probably pulling what was in their case or finding what is the closest physical facsimile and going out and buying it and replacing it.
That's true.
So, and it's, I would assume people who couldn't afford to have that style of card elsewise, which you get a little bit of sympathy there. But at the same time,
don't even use the word sympathy with this.
You don't want to be hosing over other people. Like, you stop.
They're criminals, man.
Yeah.
They're ripping off. I mean, they're causing problems for ASUS as well as a manufacturer to deal with this stuff, Amazon, or if it's a seller. It's just bad all the way around. So anyways, be aware of what's going on. That's why we shared this video today.